today. Take us through that brave journey and take us through your whole essence starting out your early years of mama.
Well, you know what, Neeta? It's funny because some people want to be moms, some people don't. I was one of those kids that, I was like very ambitious. I started college at 15 and I imagined myself running an empire, being CEO of some Fortune 500 company. And I was really very driven in that path. And when I was 24, I got married and got pregnant right away. And I remember crying every day. I was like, I'm too young to die. I can't believe my life is over. At that age, I didn't understand, right? And it felt like life was happening to me, not for me. Like I didn't understand why. And so I just remember being really, really scared, terrified that I was going to have a baby. And all my friends, at 24, they're at the clubs, they're with their boyfriends, they're out and about, we're off to LA for brunch, we're doing this and that. And I'm at home changing diapers alone. I didn't have any friends to do that with. And it was tough. So fast forward, a little bit of time. And now I literally am like, wow, children are the biggest blessing that I could have ever had in my entire life. And imagine my life without them. They've taught me how to love, how to play again.
But wait, Tracy, because you didn't just have one at 24. You had another one a year later.
Right. So when my baby girl was 3.5 months old, I got pregnant for my other daughter, Parker. And talk about like already being scared, having a baby. And then all of a sudden I was literally numb. When I found out I was pregnant for Parker, I was like, is this really happening? Like this cannot be happening. But now I have two girls. They're 16 and 17.
They're 16 and 17. We've totally had reversed.
Yeah, right. I know it's like you're knee deep in it, in the thick of it. And yeah, I'm just like, I'm a single mama and so much estrogen in our house, 2 teenagers, and it is so much fun. I am telling you, like, it is so much fun. Parker, my 16-year-old was over here with her 2 girlfriends last night, and they're just like, Mama, we went to the baseball game. They went to the local college game, just talking about how swole the guys are and, just getting all excited. And I was thinking, remember when you were 16? It was like, cute, it's just so much fun. And it's fun to it's fun to experience their excitement again. I mean,
butterflies in your stomach.
All of the things that made us excited when we were younger, you get to actually experience it again, right? The playtime, all of the things, but from a more wise perspective, I guess, and be more present for it. Because when we were younger, it was like we weren't as present, or at least I know I wasn't. It was like, what's next? And now I'm sitting around the dinner table and there's nowhere else I'd rather be than here right now, watching my daughter and her friends smile and this just fun conversation.
Well, and then because I can only imagine me kind of going through my postpartum depression, my postpartum anxieties, and for you being a young mom, having 2 under 1. I mean, they basically were Irish twins. And how did that then shape you in determination to create? Because you said you went to college at 15.
Yeah.
15.
So, well, it really did a huge shaping. I mean, now I'm a water hydration kit, teach about and how to age better through our water body. And because most people look at a clear liquid and think it's water. Water is all the same. As long as it's clean, that's it. And, that's a facet of just a small fraction, so much more that we can learn about it and the opportunity to learn about it. And when we do, we really can. And so when I was pregnant for my first daughter, I had a mineral imbalance. It was a simple mineral imbalance, but really any mineral imbalance is not simple, because if you're missing any of the building blocks for life, your cells are not going to be able to, the biogenesis isn't going to be able to take place with healthy cells. So I was very, very tired, lethargic. I could sleep 10 hours a night and wake up and it felt like I got hit by a freak. I hadn't at all. I was constipated. I had acne, inflammation in my body. And the thing that was frustrating is I was that gal that was like, I'm going to have my kale juice in the morning. I don't eat anything unless it's from a garden. I was that person that you don't want to hang out with, because I was so terrified of food because I felt so wrecked in my body, felt so awful that everything was scary because it was like, no matter what I do, I couldn't get myself to feel great. And then, yeah, it became really scary for me. And people didn't even want to eat around me. It's like, oh God, we have to go with 100,000 questions about, where this chicken was harvested from and what its name was and was it pet enough? No, I'm just kidding. But I was like, yeah, I was. And it was like, because we get to a point where it's like, well, I know myself, it just became scary, right? Fear. When there's fear, we start to react in ways that are not our best selves. So I had a mineral imbalance. I wasn't feeling well, but I didn't know that. Okay? It's like, I go to the doctor, my blood tests are coming out fine, but literally, Neetha, I was waking up in the middle of the night with my tongue stuck to the roof of my mouth. Like I couldn't even move my tongue because there was no lubrication in my mouth. My eyeballs were stuck to my eyelids. I had to literally get water to unglue them.
Because you just had this excessive thirst.
I was so dehydrated, and the doctor was like, no, it's not, gestational diabetes. Your blood sugar's great. Blood tests are coming out amazing. And I was like feeling awful. And so it wasn't until like you're in that state of deprivation where I'm drinking so much water. But what I didn't realize is the more water you're drinking, the more you're flushing out minerals too. So the more I drank, the more mineral imbalance. And one day I noticed, I was like, we had a reverse osmosis at our house, and a lot of people have filtration at their home. We're taught to drink water. So I thought, this is the best thing. I'm pregnant. I need to be smart and have a filtration system. So I'm drinking that water, and all the while I'm getting more and more. Then I started buying bottled water at the store, and when I noticed when I drank spring water, it satiated for longer. It didn't fix the problem, but I felt more satiated, and I was like, okay, wait a minute, something to this. Not all water is the same. So then I started playing with water and realizing, oh my gosh, living water, living coherent, structured, mineralized, aerated, hydrogenated, liberated oxygen in water that has messaging that's healing my body. Or there's this incoherent, dissonant, dead liquid that we call water that is not hydrating. And they both look the same. So I went back to school, and I was like, went to herbal school, and then I got into a PhD program to really understand more of water from a different level that's not just the chemistry water, the field. There's a field. There's a morphogenetic field around our body, around every living being, everything has table, it has frequency. So really understanding how our body resonates with certain things like water. And water is a crystalline structure sending end information. It's talking to us. And our body is 99% water molecule. So our bodies are talking like crystals do to each other. This computer that we're on has a crystalline structure, and this is how I'm able to talk to you all the way in Austin. There's message, and that's the same with our bodies. That's why when you go into a room, you can feel like if someone's been fighting or they're angry, there's messaging that's a field that we pick up on in our water body receiving. It's like, whoa, that's heavy. This is thick in here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. You're like, nope, I don't know what I missed, but I don't want to be in here. Yeah, we
Yeah.
pick up on that energy. So you're saying that even in our water, it's the same kind of a frequency. And many times we're just not.
Yeah, we have the opportunity to really pay more to the water. When you drink it, a lot of people will say, I don't like water. And I asked them, have you ever been to a living spring and harvested water, fresh, living from a spring? No one ever. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I want more of it. Why? It's living frequency, informing our body of life. And we want that. We resonate with it. When you're drinking incoherent water, your body's not resonating with it. No wonder you don't like it. No wonder you don't like that Dasani or whatever it is. It's like, this is incoherent, and my body's telling me, it's sending me a message. This is not good for me.
Yeah. And so, because you've definitely, you've dedicated your life now, and you're one of the foremost speakers around hydration, around, anti-aging even, and really how, teaching people how to really look at what they're putting in their bodies but also from a water standpoint, can you like take us through how can we be better in terms of what do we need for? Because even just hanging out with you for a weekend, you brought all of your biohacking tools, and one of them was like a water, kind of like volcano shaker. And
Yeah.
what was it called?
It's a vortexer, a water vortex.
Okay, and well, so take us through some of these types of steps because I know you also have a book out, Hydrate, and I want to get into that as well. But let's start with, some of the ways that we can be more vigilant and put on our own discovery hats around what better for us, the stage and
Yeah, so all of us drink water, almost all of us. Some people tell me they don't drink any water. They drink coffee because it has water in it. And, there's different types of people, but most people do drink water and recognize the value of drinking water. Also, many of us don't think about what kind of water we. And I was that person too for so long until I went through my struggle, which is great because I always think there's always opportunity in every obstacle, right? And my opportunity was that I look at where I am now, look at what my life's been. So that obstacle really led me to calling. I think though that a lot of people just haven't been informed about water. And this is why I'm so passionate about it because it's something that all of us need, yet most of us have been very much on what. So let's just think about nature. Nature teaches us. Nature is our teacher. So when I look at water that's in nature, what's happening with the water, it's usually healthy living water and constant. It's not sitting stagnant, a stagnant body of water. You look at that and what's into it? Bacteria is going to grow. It starts to stink and smell. We don't want that. We want water that's moving. And as it's moving, it's typically moving rock formations or the earth and picking up minerals. And as it's moving, it's also physically filtering itself and picking up the minerals. And then through the movement, we call this vortex. The really interesting thing about vortexing that there's so much more to learn. But what we simply understand is it's like there's something happening in the vortexing where it's throwing this vortex motion is throwing off all of deleting the negative information and drawing in all of the living things that we need. So Gary Greenfield, I had interviewed him on my show, and it was really interesting what he said. He said that he took like wastewater and vortexed it for 2 weeks. Okay. He didn't do any type of filtration system, just vortexing. And he said that water was purified. The water was purified after 2 weeks. And I'm like, how is that possible? You just vortexed it through a filter. And I said, what's happening here? And he said, I don't completely understand. And no one really understands. But somehow in the field, it is known that it's like you throw off the negative frequencies and it's changing the physics of the water. So how the hydrogen molecule H2 is attached to the oxygen, changing that structure and the way that those molecules are coming together and forming different types of structures based on the frequency spectra. So like music, singing, right? You either have a symphony where every coherent together in this beautiful harmonic set, or something that's dissonant and incoherent. That would be like water that is contaminated and dirty and has dissonant frequencies. It's not coming together in beautiful formations. Like these molecules should be coming together almost like holding hands, right? And they come together and just
And
like
it reminds me, and Tracy, I was going to just say, it reminds me of that Japanese scholar who, did that first study. I forget what his name is, but basically he did the study on, when he would basically talk really bad to the plants that were being, watered. And then for another side of plant, basically he was, talking to them with like, oh, you're so beautiful, grow, and just like really these great affirmations to one side of them, which actually grew big and was really strong and had so much vitality and had so much energy. But then the other side of plants who, they were given the same water, but then were talked to with just like the dirtiest, nastiest language, ended up dying and didn't, live. I feel like it's kind of reminding me of that, of, if we're not having the dissonance or even the negative energy around how we're putting things in our body versus, saying those intentions, saying those affirmations, it can actually change the state of our water.
Absolutely. That was Masaru Emoto. I believe that you're
Yes, yes, Masaru.
and
Yep.
Masaru Emoto is just someone that I'm so grateful for because he really brought more attention to the mainstream world that water holds memory, it holds, and it is communicating with us. And the thoughts we think, the words we say are impacting not only the glass of water in front of us, but our water body. Since our water body is a crystalline structure, we have the opportunity to choose every word we say, the environments that we're in, the music we listen to, the movies we watch. That is creating the crystalline structure that we are. So that gets exciting because then it's like, wow, I want to be this beautiful formation, healthy, coherent, my choice, opportunity. And that's been one of the biggest things for me that's gotten me really about health and wellness is I'm not no longer to my health. This body be bondage like it was when we started this conversation, how I was sick. It almost felt like my body, I was in bondage to my body. I had this mind that wanted to be healthy. I was doing all of these things. I was swimming upstream, trying so hard, doing every diet I could possibly think of, AIP, autoimmune protocol, anything to get rid of the inflammation and help myself feel better. When really the thing that changed everything, my thought and my work. Once I took inventory of realizing that every morning I was waking up with anxiety, that am I good enough? Am I lovable? I didn't even know because a lot of our thoughts are so unconscious. We have these in our, but a good way to take hold of those thoughts is when you wake up in the morning, take inventory. What am I thinking about? Because a lot of time we'll wake up with like, oh my gosh, I got to get up. I got to go. I'm already late, right? I'm already like a half an hour late because I slept in, whatever. And we just don't take that time. So just waking up just a little bit earlier and time in bed. I spend time in bed and thanking God that I'm alive, that I have breath in my lungs, that I have a family to love, that I have food, water, the sun has risen, that I can trust that every morning the sun's going to rise, the moon's going to come up and shine its light for me. This is when like my body's, and I ask God to sing a song of love over every single molecule, every cell in my body that'll be washed to in this perfect coherent, bathed in the perfect coherent liquid, that my extracellular fluid and matrix and then all my cells are in this right spin being bathed in it. And I just imagine divine song of love over me. And when I feel that, my just like literally every cell to vibe. It just feels so good. And that's where, and when I
I feel
started,
like just when you were just saying that, Tracy, even my cells just started to melt because I'm like, you're so right. I feel like we take that so much for granted because we're so primed, especially as women, we're primed to do it for others. And we're primed, especially if you have littles, we're primed to do that for them first and then do that for ourselves. Like we're the ones to, get the scrapping up. You're saying, nope, let's start filling our own cups first, like the second we wake up. And it's so interesting that, yes, you're absolutely right about like the anxieties that run our minds, the anxiety to take hold and to take root into space in our minds every day. And you're saying, no, let's start reprogramming, not just our mind, not just what we're thinking, but literally every single cell in your body. And so the prayer that you're even saying, it's just wash over every cell in me. Let's kind of like savor it. And that I think is just, the word that's coming to mind is just thirst quenching because
yeah,
we want to be satiated in even the ways that we're bathing ourselves with our words that we choose. Really, really.
it's so powerful. It changed my life. It literally changed my life. Once I started shifting my mindset, inventory of my thoughts, because like I said, I didn't know my thoughts were negative. It was like I was just going. I had two little kids at that time. They were 1 and 2. I was starting a new business. I was exhausted. I was tired. I was in a marriage that felt really painful. And it just was a struggle. And just to get up in the morning, it was like my favorite thing to look forward to was when I got to go to bed because then I could close my eyes, just go into dream world because the world was really hard at that to me. And it was like my body felt unhealthy, my mind was unhealthy. But when we're in survival mode, a lot of time we don't because we're just going. And so once I took that moment to take inventory, like, ooh, wow, these thoughts what's happening, what's like, or even you might not even be aware of your thoughts. You could just feel into your body like there's tension when I wake up, or am I breathing? And then ask yourself to get curious, like what is this? Where's this coming
Yeah.
from? What's
To
happening
start
for me now?
and to even start identifying, pinpointing. And I think, well, and what would you say now? Because you are the foremost queen that now you have your show. I was on your podcast, and we'll share the show in the show notes are to your episode. And but now you have this show. You are known as the hydration queen. You're known as the queen of anti-aging. You have this book out now that teaches people how to love and be chic and fabulous and sexy and in all of the ways, just with hydration. Do you have a copy of the book that you can show us and tell us
Yeah,
more
I
about
do.
it?
Wait, hold on one second. I have to grab it.
Team, cut this out. Cut this out. You can resume recording when she is back. So you will cut this out, Rinbeer, Arvine. Okay, great. And resume. Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, so tell us more about Hydrate as we segue into, I love that it looks like a coffee table book. And tell us because you could have just written a very scientific approach book, kind of like what we see a lot of people do, but you wanted to make this fun. Tell us the whole reasoning behind. I mean, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. I'm definitely getting copies so that I can put it on my literally in both my office desk area, lounge area, and my living room. So take us through it.
Well, the inspiration behind the book was I owned a functional medicine clinic and wellness spa and retreat for the last, and like I also said, for starting in pre-meds, I've been shadowing doctors since that age, obsessed with health and wellness, just loved it. And I learned from some of the best doctors in the world. I mean, I've had the most amazing men from all around the world. And a lot of them have their own protocols, their own systems. And so I would learn from different doctors, and then I kind of built my own systems around what I liked from each of them. But what I realized one day was, okay, people can come in, and we love this word. It's become very popular, biohack. People can have all these toys and gadgets and vitamins and whatever, all the things to try to make us healthy. But I realized many people were missing the basic foundations for health. And when I realized that, I thought, oh my God, you can do all the things. You can go get IVs, you can take vitamins, you can go to the gym, you can eat healthy. But if you're missing basic foundations, you'll never thrive. And the basic foundations is what I came up with, these 9 pillars of health. And they're the things that I realized that we all need, which is number 1, hydration, minerals, balanced set of minerals, nutrition, sunlight, grounding, healthy sleep, movement, creative playtime, and connected community. If we're lacking any of these, we will not. And most of my patients were missing many. Most of my patients didn't even know what it was to take their shoes. Most of them were indoors all day under toxic lighting. I call toxic lighting like the junk food, because light is our nutrition, right? It's full spectrum light is the forgotten nutrition. That's why we eat fruits and vegetables, the light energy that's in the plant, in the plant cells. And I mean, we eat it for other reasons too, but that's one of them. And so if we're not getting full spectrum light, we're missing that.
Full spectrum light from being outside, not just
Outside,
inside
yeah.
our house.
Not filtered light, not even like your car. When you're in your car, there's windows in your car, and that light's being refracted, being bent, being filtered. It's not full spectrum health. So we want to go out and get a healthy dose. Not too much, not too little, but we want a healthy dose, just like food. You want to eat the right amount. So most people weren't even doing that. They're like inside most of the day, right? At their computer, on their cell phones, under toxic lighting. A lot of them was like foreign to them, their shoes off. What? I take my shoes off, connect to the earth? Isn't that what like hippies do? Why would I do that, you know? And so teaching that it's like, no, your body is like a battery. It's electric. We are a bioelectric being. If we don't take time to charge these bioelectric bodies, we're going to drain out, and then our cells will lack cellular communication. And then they know when to go. They don't know when to go into apoptosis. They don't know when to die off. That's when we get these rogue cells. It's like they don't know when to die. They don't know it's cell autophagy. How do we cleanse ourselves? Our cells are so divinely intelligent. They know what to do. Our only job is to remove the obstacles. And what are the
And you're
obstacles?
saying, yeah, and you're saying some of the things that we can do is basically take our shoes off, go outside in our grass, and connect back. What are some of the other things start doing today? Get super inspired from this podcast and is like, all right, I'm going to go outside, get out of my artificial light, aka my laptop, and literally get some sunlight, and maybe even, gloomy light if that's where you're at, but to actually get outside no matter what.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I have 9 pillars, but the reason why I wrote the book is because we don't want to make anything a job or a chore, right? Oh, great. Now I got to do 9 more things. No. A lot of these you can double dose, and the book makes it fun and playful. It gives you inspiration, incorporate into your life really playful way. Anyone that knows me and has been to my house, they're like, it's an adult playground. I have an adult tree house. I've got, so many balance beams, trampolines, because we can double dose. We can get that creative playtime. We can get the sunlight. We can get the grounding. We can get the community, all of those in one, and we're having a great time. So it's not like you have to go, oh my gosh, I got to go out into the sunlight. No, go out and play. Have a good time, You're getting the sun. Take your shoes off. Move your body in different ways. Our body is the gateway to our emotional body. Our physical body is the gateway to our emotional body. So when you start moving your body in different ways that you haven't moved before, like move your fingers. How often do you stretch your fingers out or touch your ears and move your earlobes and different parts of your body?